try to wrap up your collage if you haven't done so already. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not the completed work.
Mine's done
And
because I did a smaller card.
nice. So what we're going to do now, well, I'm going to ask you to trust me again, but maybe you're feeling like, wow, I love this collage. I already see meaning in it. I love it. I might even hang it on my fridge or on the wall next to my desk for a while or something.
Keep it in my journal.
Yeah. Um, but I'm going to ask you not to do that because we have some more steps we're going to take with it, and it's going to change what you currently have. And so, um, in order for you to not feel an overwhelming sense of loss, even though I think what you're going to get on the other side is going to be great, possibly a lot better than what you have now. I know that attachment and I want to honor the attachment. So I recommend you take a photo before we take our next step. So take a photo of what you've made. Um, and yeah, it'll be a good reminder of where we've been today, of what we've done.
Mhm.
And, and then you will be able to see what transformation looks like in digital proof because we're about to transform this into something else.
Sometimes things have to be taken apart. Sometimes things have to be dismantled in order to be mantled. Again, I think of Bridget having to break out of slavery, having to repair or choosing to repair relationship with people that had wronged her, and being able to build on land. And I think of all the lessons she learned in repairing or in building toward that monastery or the land if it's a goddess, if you're looking at it from the
Mhm.
goddess perspective. But I think about taking something beautiful, and we're lucky today that we can take a picture of it, but sometimes it's in the dismantling or the tearing apart or adding a new perspective, a lesson from the past, something from the story that can lead to a new perspective. So I appreciate wanting to protect it and keep it intact. And it's okay for things to change and evolve and become new, in that too.
Okay, so once you've taken your picture, um, I want you to take it and turn it over till you see those words that you wrote. And if you're not done and there's some things you want to glue on,
Mm,
just set them aside and maybe you can add them later because they might be useful or save them for your next project. Um, but you're going to turn it over and around where you wrote the words, I want you to draw a heart. Um, Now, I want it to be big enough because inside the heart, I want you to do a nested heart or two or three or four or however you want to go. Um, you can freehand it. You can press pause and go get a cookie cutter, or um,
you
you
can fold
should
it in
have,
half
yeah, you can
and
fold it
cut
in
it.
half. Yeah, do your question mark or half ice cream cone, but you want it to be a heart and you want it to be fairly center so that if your collage didn't go all the way out to the edge, you're not left with a lot. But do not yet flip your collage over. Um, just begin cutting. And you're going to cut out any of the hearts you drew. So if you drew three, you'll cut out three nested hearts. If you just did, um, if you just did two, then just cut out two. If you do not know or remember from uh, elementary school when that one really smart, creative kid figured out how to cut the window out of the house you guys are making, um, let me give you some tips. So I have my line. I'm going to open my scissors, put one of the ends on the line, put my finger behind it, and just kind of gently go back and forth until I've got a tiny little hole. And then I can slip my scissors in, go one way, then the other, and I just begin cutting my line.
And that's how you cut out your heart, or are you cutting out a window?
I'm cutting out a heart window. So it's a heart within a heart.
Okay.
But if
Okay.
you wanted just a window, that's fine too. And I'm not following my lines very well, so my heart's very likely going to be a bit wonky. But that seems appropriate. Sometimes my heart does feel wonky. Um,
Mine is wonky because I also don't like a perfect heart.
I like a perfect heart if it's a beautiful heart, but I am particular about what makes a beautiful heart. And for some reason, probably because I'm very right-handed and not left-handed at all, mine always tends to be very lopsided. Like my left-handed side tends to be a lot more generous, um, probably over the top generous, and my right side is like neater and like I'm trying to control it more. Um, I think I'll go talk to my therapist about that one. That might be revealing. Um, no, yeah, so my hearts are very often lopsided, and so I go back and like try to shave down one side, make them a little more even, but
That's what can
nope.
happen though when you're not thinking with your brain and you're just feeling it out. I think
Yeah,
that that's what we often get.
yeah. And no perfect hearts here. Right, girl? Oh, all right.
Mhm.
When you have cut out however many you made, then you may turn around and look at what happened. You might be surprised at what showed up, um, or who showed up, depending on what you put on yours. So, what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you some examples, and then we're going to let you work, and we're going to let you work through the end of this time together and keep working as long as you uh, feel drawn to it. Because we are at what we call the embodying phase. We are going to embody these hearts and bring them to their next phase so that they can come alive. And we're going to also literally take all of this information about Bridget and about this art making, and we are going to see what incorporates into our lives that
Mhm.
we then take home, take to friends' houses, take into our work, take into our daily rhythm of maybe cultivating that heart growth. Um, so,
Mhm.
yeah. So, what we're going to do next, I asked you to bring either wax paper or tissue paper, or um, you could use like a clear plastic bag. Um, you could use anything that kind of has some translucence or is completely transparent. And you are going to glue it into the center of this space. Um, so I'm going to quickly show you what I mean. If you're using like wax paper or tissue paper, I recommend just cutting a square or rectangle that's bigger than your heart,
Mhm.
gluing it down, and then you can trim up around the edge instead of trying to trace the heart shape. It gets very unwieldy and it's not necessary. You're not wasting that much paper by doing it this way, and you're certain to have it cover the whole shape, which is key. So,
I literally traced with glue, like Amy
mhm,
was saying, and then I'll
yeah,
come back in and trim it out. That's what she's saying.
yeah, exactly what Bethany just said. So this is baking paper.
Mm.
I didn't know if it would work, but seems to work just fine. The main thing that we're going for is we want this to have a bit of translucence. Now, please don't hold it up to the light yet. That's part of the surprise. But you're going to look at this collage with this cutout. And by the way, if you cut out more than one heart, or if you have extra collage on your paper, I say go to town. But at least make one, please, so you can appreciate what your heart is telling you. Um, I'm almost done cutting this out. Beck, have you cut yours out?
Mhm.
Okay. So you have this, and then I recommend if you have any tissue paper or feathers or a thin paper, even some magazine pages, maybe hold them up and see, do they have some light? You're going to just kind of fill some things in that center. You do not have to fill the whole thing in. Maybe you just want to put one word. Maybe you want to do a design. Maybe you want to put another heart, but in a different kind of paper. You have a lot of possibilities. Um, so just kind of fill that space as much or as little as you want. It might even look beautiful without anything in there if that's what you want. And you could spend this time um, just kind of decorating more on your heart itself or making a whole other one. Um, but either way, I recommend you do that. Um, fill some space in. Hmm. Again, follow intuition. If something funny or strange or silly or uh, you know uncomfortable even a little starts to happen, so let me rewind. When I was preparing to give birth to my daughter, my first child, and they said because very often the pain in childbirth is amplified by the fact that our bodies begin to resist what is happening.
Mhm.
Um, and so they said if you use this method, it helps you flow and get in line with what your body is doing, which is good work. But it's hard work, it's difficult work, and it's work your body is not used to. And so
It doesn't
that,
want to sustain.
no, and it's, yeah. And so they said if you can do this practice, it can help you with the pain that is coming and help you be more relaxed and at peace in the process. Um, and it was through this visualization of trusting that something was at work,
Mm,
and it was good work that you were in the midst of,
mhm,
and that if you could trust your body, then you knew your body would help tell you when things were not going right. And the rest of the time, you could relax and let your body do the work it needed to do. And so it was through visualization. So I tell that long story to say, if something feels uncomfortable, maybe trust the process. Maybe trust that there is something at work and that you don't have to know what it is. But unless it's like your body saying, no, I cannot, I cannot, I cannot, like a true alert, maybe say, let's just trust it for a little bit. This is a safe space and I can take a little bit of a risk.
mm,
So if something comes up that you're doing that's like, huh, that's weird, and your brain is going, no, don't do it, don't do it, take a pause, ask yourself, is this bad for me or is it new for me? And if it's simply new or different or strange or even like something you want to reject, but it's not signaling that it's bad, then can I ask that you go with it
mhm,
and just see what comes?
mhm.
And I think in this instance, the worst thing that'll come is you have an ugly collage. But even ugly collages can be pretty special.
'Cause it's
So
about the process and the expression
it
and
is.
learning to trust it. Yep.
It is. So, um, okay. So once you've done all that, then that's it. That is your heart. You can turn it over. You can look at it. You can hold it up to the light. Um, look at it.
Mhm.
Let's see if mine, oh, there, you can see mine a little. Yeah. Here are a couple others that I did. Um,
Oh,
as I
cool.
was comparing, I found I could hide uh, hearts invisibly. So when you see it up close, you only see the two. But then when you held it up to the light, you see more, which was
And
super fun.
that almost looks like a layered weave, you know, to that you could layer some stuff in between almost like Bridget's cross, like we wove
Hmm.
in. I think you could really play with this idea
Yeah.
of collage. And part of the gathering is we want to teach you techniques and give you techniques to continue to play in between our sessions, in between when
Hmm.
we meet. So we're going into detail today to encourage you to continue to play and build upon what you've been learning today with us.
Yeah.
I did
So,
some tissue and I did a
um,
back paper that was a picture with some
yeah.
tissue instead of something see-through because I just like to put a hook and hang this on a tree
Yeah.
branch. Um,
Can you hold it to the light and see? Because some magazine pages still let the light through at least certain colors.
not that you could see on
No, but do you
camera.
see? Does it?
Yeah, and the thing is it shows the back of the magazine, so I don't love that. So it will
So
not
I
be in the
did this
light.
one earlier today. My daughter and I did it, and it has no hole. But let's see if I can show you. Let- you see how you can see some of what's happening behind that you don't see quite as well. Anyway, it's hard to show you here. Please have fun with this. But also, as you explore this and think about this day, let it speak to you. Let the joy of it speak to you. Let the delight of it speak to you. I don't know if you guys are like this, but I used to love Valentine's cards. Not Valentine's. I don't care about Valentine's. Okay, when I was 15, I cared about it because I really wanted some boy to ask me to the dance and like proclaim his love for me. That never happened. But what did happen is I could spend hours making Valentine cards, and I love them, and they bring me such joy. That silly, over the top, too much glue, too much glitter, which is terrible for the environment. So try to buy eco-friendly glitter, um, or just cut up shimmery wrapping paper that you got at Christmas time and make that your glitter. But um, for a lot of years, I didn't let myself do that.
Mhm.
And I have found that sometimes we need to reclaim those things of joy within us because they hold a key.
Mm.
And for me, that key was um, being an artist. It's taken me a lot of years to get to the point of saying I'm an artist. And I'm not always confident of that. But when I get back to a place of making silly Valentine hearts or doing a collage for with no idea of where it's going and for no real purpose, and then something happens and I go, oh
Mhm.
yeah, there's
Mhm.
something more here. So
It's in
hold
the
on to these.
discovery. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on to these because there is something more. Um, and if you want a quick takeaway, take a heart or take your extra paper and cut a new heart, and then find a small box, um, like a jewelry box or an
Matchbox,
empty
Altoid
matchbox.
10.
Um, or my son reminded me, even the plastic containers that fruits and vegetables come in, they can be a good box. Put your heart in there and decorate the box a little and
Mm.
make it a little, some call it an altar, some call it a reflection point. Uh, in the kind of old tradition, they called them milagros. You can put a few found
Mhm.
objects in it. Um, and maybe you find a few new words and just let it be a little point of reflection. So you can take your heart and do that, or you can make a new heart and do it. Um, so,
Lots of layers to this that you can do until spring. You have
mhm.
time in the winter to contemplate. And Amy, I keep thinking of that Leonard Cohen song, and
Yes,
one of
I was
his lines
that
is,
too.
ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. It's how the light gets in. And that's really what we're celebrating today, the
Mhm.
gathering. There's a lot of layers to this that we hope sink in, but we're celebrating the cracks, the mistakes, the things that let the light in and teach us really, really important lessons to step into our new mantle, our new cloak, the
Yeah,
new unfolding of the year ahead
yeah,
of us, that we're bringing the old in with the new. You don't have to be fixed, you don't have to be solved. We are here to understand, to be, to create, to express.
yeah,
All are welcome here in this space. All are welcome. Pull a seat up, gather with us.
yeah. We're really thankful that you came here today and joined us at the gathering, and we hope that you will decide to join us again in the future. Um, we look forward to being able to do these live with you and maybe someday in the future, even being able to do them in person together. Um, in the meantime, until we can meet you in person or at least live over Zoom, please let us know who you are. Let us
Mhm.
know what brought you here and what your experience of today was. We will be sharing with you, like Bethany said earlier, some ways that you can continue this work into the coming days and weeks and months if you want to. Ways that you can kind of hold this and cherish these, and also maybe deepen that heart development, deepen that learning to follow your gut. Um, and will maybe deepen your connection with Bridget, and with the spirit of that woman who was so many things.
Mhm.
So, um,
Amy, you want to close us up with that blessing that you put?
yeah, this is a poem of Bridget that I'm just going to speak as a This is a poem of Bridget that I'm just going to speak as a blessing over us as we go. You are a woman of peace. You bring harmony where there is conflict. You bring light to the darkness and hope to the downcast. May the mantle of your peace expand to places that are troubled and anxious. And may peace be firmly rooted in your heart. May you be inspired by all you see to create and to act. May your presence bring healing. May you find strength even when you feel weak. May you be at ease in a place of belonging, settled into a quietness that heals. May you grow each day into greater wholeness.
Happy St. Bridget's Day. Happy Bridget's Day. Happy in bulk. May you find the light within and the light without. We hope to see you at a future gathering.